What's up, everybody? It's your boy, DJ B-A-S-E, DJ Bass, because music is the foundation to every hit unless it's an acapella. And if you tuned in to this channel, then you've tuned in to the Beat Break. And in this episode of the Beat Break, we're going to be looking at a hardcore hip-hop track. Okay, and we're going to be keeping it simple, but we're going to stay competitive. And with that out the way, let's get started. And as always, we didn't have a particular direction when we started this track. We just pulled up the tempo tapper and we tapped out a tempo according to the mood that we were in, and that turned out to be a 112 tempo. Okay, and as you see, that appears to be a 4-bar loop, but since we're using what they call trap tempo, it's actually a 2-bar loop. Okay, and for you newbies out there to beat making, if you ever stuck and you don't know where to start, just start with your snare, okay, and drop that snare on the 3 and the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, on the 7, on the 3 and the 7. Okay, and as you see, we drop that velocity just below the max because we wanted to leave room for the kick drum. We want that kick drum to be most prominent. Okay, but we knew we wanted to thicken that snare up, so we did that with a clap. Okay, and we brought that volume of that clap up to about 80 with the snare, but the velocity we brought down just under the snare because we wanted that clap to come out, but we wanted the snare to stand out more, creating a nice thick snare. Okay. Okay, and just a simple 3/7 snare pattern. Okay, and at this point, we decided we wanted to get rid of the metronome and create our own rhythm to go by. Okay, so we dropped the hi-hat pattern in, and as you see, it's a simple pattern. Okay, we left the velocity right there with the clap, and for the volume, we set that around 66. And so we're kind of mixing before we even really get to the mixer, okay? And this is what that pattern sounds like. Okay, and as you can see, we just dropped in some 8th notes here, and since we're in trap tempo, that's actually 16th notes, okay? And we got halfway on that first bar, we added a little stutter step, okay? And the way we did that was we highlighted, we went to this wrench tool, and we just hit chop. And it brought up this chop tool, and we just went to the time knob, and we dialed in whatever chops we liked. And that's how we did that, and we hit accept, and that was that. Okay, and on the second half of this first bar, we actually just did the same thing, and we got here to this second 16th note, and we omitted that note, and at the end of that first bar, we omitted that 16th note right there. Okay, and then when we got to the second bar, we just doubled that up and moved it right there. Okay, and we just left it as is. Okay, And for the last part of that bar, we just basically copied this and moved it in, okay? And instead of omitting that note, we added it and just left that one out, okay? And once again, this is what the pattern sounds like. Okay. And you can see the bounce we created by omitting those notes. Okay, and at this point, man, we got a little bounce, okay, and some rhythm going on. But we decided we needed some white noise. So we went to this ride symbol, this ride sound, okay, and we set that to 76 on the volume. Okay. Well, about 76. Okay. And for the velocity, we just set that right there with the clap. And we dropped it on the 1. Okay. Okay. And since this gonna be a simple hardcore track, we like to use a lot of white noise, man, to give energy. And so we added some more white noise in the form of a crash sound. And we set that volume to around 62, okay? And the velocity, we dropped it below everything, okay? And we just brought the first one in at the end of that first bar, about a quarter note in, okay, at the end. And on the second bar, we dropped it at the end, but we started about a 16th note early. And this is what that sounds like. Okay. All right. At this point, we're bouncing, we're moving. I decided, okay, we're not gonna overdo it. We're gonna bring in the kick drum, okay? And that's what we did. We brought the kick in at around 78, all right? And the velocity, we brought that up above everything, all right? Because we want that kick to stand out. And as you can see, we just dropped a simple kick pattern, okay? In the first bar, just a 3-note kick pattern, all right? For the first half, we dropped it on the 1. In this, on the second half, we omitted that 1 drop, okay, for a 16th note, and we delayed it and brought it in, okay, and we omitted the note at the end, okay. And for that second bar, we omitted that first drop, okay, for a 16th note or 8th note, however you want to look at it, and we brought it in a little later, okay, and then we added that kick note at the end, all right. So we just moved that note back, all right. And for the second half of that second bar, we actually omitted that first drop, okay, and added it where we added it, but we added a second note to that, and we added a note at the end where we omitted here. And this is what that kick pattern sounds like. Okay. All right. And at this point, I'm like, hey, man, we're knocking. We're hitting. And at this point, I'm feeling like Fruity Drum Synth Live has served us well, and we're done. Okay, we're not gonna overdo the drums. Like I said, it's gonna be simple, hardcore hip hop. And if you look at a lot of the music today, you know, it's pretty simple. Music today is not that musical. You know, it's musical, but they're not using as many musical instruments. They're using maybe one or two instruments that's an evolving, complex instrument that they're achieving with sound design, okay? And so that's how they're achieving the sounds today. Not many instruments, but complex sounds and sound design, and plus the way they reverse samples and melodies, okay? So although it's musical, they don't go overboard on the musicality. All right, it's more drums and vocal ad libs or whatnot. And so we're gonna use just one sound, but we're gonna add an 808 to add interest. And since we're only using one sound, we knew we wanted a bass sound to add drama, and we wanted a lot of energy. So we chose this sound. Okay, and we're in F natural minor, and we're just using 4 notes out of that scale. Okay, we're starting on the 1, we're going to the 4, back down to the 3, to the 7, and back to the 1. Okay, a simple little melody. And when we put it with the drum track, all right. And at this point, I'm like, hey, we have drama. And since I knew we wanted to keep this simple and we were just using one instrument, I knew we had an 808 we wanted to use, okay? And I knew that I wanted to use that 808 sort of as a alternate melody, okay? And we wanted to make that 808 stand out, so we just dropped that 808 on the kick drop. But in doing so, it created its own little melody. And this is the 808 we chose. Okay, we're just using what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 notes out of that F natural minor scale to create this bass line / alternate melody. And we're using it to create movement in the low end. So when we put that with everything else we have, this is what we have. Okay, and on that note, you've been rocking with your boy DJ BASE. And if you like this video, if you learned anything, or if it just entertained you, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Next time.